Hi, YouTubers. Something important, something goddamn important. So, anyway, I have a ramble right now. So, more like a rant, but it's actually a ramble. So, let's just go with it. So, basically, as with my counselor today, nice big ass counselor like the big ass cigar, just being silly ass like the big ass cigar. And yeah, long story short, I was with my counselor today, and we went to Wegmans in Massachusetts. Be so damn cold here, damn hot here, damn. And so we went to Wegmans, and yeah, so we had lunch there, and then we went to, walk around the store. You know, we walked around the frickin' store, and I bought a 6-pack of gluten-free beer, a nice big-ass beer like the big-ass cigar, and yes, for the last damn time, I am 31 years old. For the last damn time, I am 31 years old. I'm a grown-ass man like the big-ass cigar, and so yeah, I bought a 6-pack of gluten-free beer called Redbridge. And I go up to the counter to pay for it, or the checkout line, the frickin' checkout line, and yeah, I go up to the counter to pay for it, and obviously I'm also buying some bubble water, some seltzer water, sparkling water. So the girl scans that first because you're supposed to put your alcohol at the end of the line. And Wegmans has a policy where everyone shows ID. Period. It's called a 100% proofing policy, not truthing policy, but proofing policy. PROOOFING. So basically, they check everyone's ID. Period. Long story short, and so I have my ID ready, and the girl says, "Oh yeah, can I see your ID?" I hand the girl my ID and show her my ID, and I tell her my date of birth to make it simpler. Because a lot of times, if you tell them your date of birth to make it simpler, it kind of speeds things up a little bit. Because a lot of people who try to cheat the system, air quote cheat the system, a lot of people what they'll do is like give the person a false date of birth and try to like cheat them, which obviously is really bad. Like obviously screw those people, fuck those people, whatever. It's like so by telling them your date of birth, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I look at your date of birth on your ID card, and you tell me your date of birth," it kind of makes things just a hell of a lot more easier, just to speed things up. So you're not, standing there for 5 minutes. It's like, because obviously I'm kind of, a little bit, in a hurry. So the girl looks at my ID card and says, "I am sorry, sir. Unfortunately, your ID card is expired." I'm like, "What?" Like, WTF? Like, what? I am thinking in my head, what the fuck? It's like, obviously I don't say the F word in front of her, but I mean, I just got my ID card in the mail from the DMV or RMV. Most people call it the DMV, but I call it the RMV. Yeah, I just got my ID card in the mail, like, literally less than 2 weeks ago. It's not expired, it was just issued to me. I'm like, "No, my ID card is not expired." I say to the woman, and when I say the woman is a girl, I'm not talking about like a 10-year-old girl. I'm saying, the girl who's the cashier. And when I say girl, I mean like young lady. I'm talking about like a, 18, 21, 22-year-old woman. Okay, I'm getting off topic here. So I say, obviously my ID card is not expired. It expires in 2027. And the woman or the girl looks at my ID card and says, "Oh yes, you're right, sir. I'm sorry about that. I was looking at the wrong thing." So apparently what happened is, and obviously for the last damn time, I am 31 years old, but obviously you have to have a valid ID. Your ID card cannot be expired, which is important for me to know that they do check that, because some stores pay more attention to if your ID card's expired or not. And obviously, stores should be careful. I'm not saying they should not be careful, because obviously alcohol and tobacco, any kind of age-restricted product is obviously dangerous. There's a reason why it is age-restricted, not just because of the bullshit, but also because there is a good reason why it's age-restricted. So the girl, the woman or girl looks at my ID card and says, "Yes, you're right. Your ID card expires in 2027. I was incorrect. I was looking at the wrong thing." So what happened was she was looking at the date that it was issued, which was April 7th of 2022, and she thought, "Oh, it expires on April 7th, 2022. It was not issued on that day." So that's the mistake that she made. So that was her little fuck up. So obviously not trying to be like a jerk and say like, "Oh, the woman was, stupid," whatever. It's like, because that's obviously against YouTube rules to be rude or be a, jerk to people. It's like, believe me, I'm not trying to be like a jerk. It's like, but what she ended up doing was she thought my ID card expired on April 7th, and it was actually issued on April 7th. So that was a little mess up or fuck up, whatever. So, and she said, oh yeah, I apologize for that, no big deal. And she said, yep, you're fine. You are correct that your ID card expires on April 7th of 2027. So you are correct about that. And then she had me pay with my debit card, and she sent me on my way. And I apologized to her. I said, oh, I'm sorry for that little mix-up, or whatever. So obviously I wouldn't say the F word around her. It's like, because obviously that's impolite. So I would obviously not say, fuck up around her. So that's the moral of the story. So, but that proves, I think she also said in addition to that, she made a comment about how the new licenses in Massachusetts, how the new licenses are in a different format, and they're still getting used to them over the years. Because even though most residents of Massachusetts are using the new ID cards now, because a couple of years ago, I think it was back in 2016, I want to say, there was a new format, excuse me, a new format for ID cards where basically they changed the way they're formatted, like in terms of like where the date of birth goes, in terms of like where the expiration date goes, and the store clerks at these big like chain stores, like like the Tip Glass liquor store and like the Wegmans and the Ocean State, they're still getting used to these new ID cards, because even though it's been like 5 years or 6 years, they're still getting used to them because they're so damn used to the old format, because that was the old format for so many years. So they're still getting used to the new format, and the girl was like, and when I say girl, I don't mean like a 10-year-old girl. I mean like she was probably a 25-year-old woman. So I know some people are going to get confused by that when I say the woman was a girl. So girl means young lady. So the woman's like, yeah. So I know the new ID cards are formatted in a slightly different way. I think that was the kind of the fuck up there was. She's just getting used to the new ID card layout and how they are formatted and where the expiration date goes and where the date of birth goes and all that kind of crap. So anyway, that's about it. So pretty fucking cool. Bye.